Get ready to add a touch of spookiness to your decor with the 6 Halloween-inspired transformations using thrifted treasures. Hi there, I am Emily with J Bone & Company. If you have never been here, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. I am so glad that you are here today. On today's video, we are going to be talking all things Halloween. This is a second part in a 2-part series of Halloween DIY. If you haven't seen the part 1, you can check it out after this video, and I'll link that one in the description. I think you'll like that video as well. A lot of people have really seemed to enjoy that one. So in today's video, we are going to take items that I have thrifted, and we're going to take those basic items, and then you're going to need some paint and some basic supplies. And I'll link all those things in the description for you. The purpose of this video is to teach you how to get started, to encourage you. I'm not here to tell you that I'm a professional, although I do have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Studio Art from the University of Texas at Arlington that I received in 1999. And what that means is that I studied studio art, painting, drawing, clay, all that kind of stuff, history, art history. I'm classically trained in those things. So with all that being said, let's get started with the next project. Project number 1 is this Eerie Owl artwork. We're going to use a mold, and we're going to make it look like weathered wood using a stain, and it's going to be a perfect addition to your Moody decor. Now, if you saw my first video, you would have seen me make a bunch of different molds using the epoxy resin, and in that video, I showed you how to mix the resin, how to pour it, and the basic steps of that. So if you haven't seen that one, you can go back and check that one out after this one. If you want to now, you can, but I would recommend just going ahead and watching this one. And then after this, you can do it. It doesn't matter which order you go in. So what you see me doing now is I decided to just scuff sand it really lightly first, and then I cleaned it because you have all that dust from the sandpaper. And now I'm giving it 2 good coats with Fusion Mineral Cast Iron Paint. And I love this color. It's a really cool color. If you have black paint, that works too. But I'm just using this color as well. So I'm just giving it, the 2 coats of paint. Don't put too much paint on your paintbrush when you are painting the actual plaque part of it, because you'll see lines if you put too much. You want to do several thin coats, but you do need to load up your brush when you're doing the details of that owl. So what I first decided to do is I wanted to try out this metallic paint on this owl, but this was one of the last projects I did that night, and when I did it, I just decided I don't like the look of that. I'd done some other ones, similar ones to this, and I thought I just really don't want to do that, so I decided to just paint over it again. And what I didn't show you is that I added these little iron orchid design molds around the corner, because I thought the plaque was kind of plain. I really kind of had a little disaster when I did that because of the product that I used, but I'll show you how to do that later in another video. So what I wanted to do here is I decided, I'll try out this driftwood stain. This stain has a sealer in it as well. I thought it would be kind of cool to make this owl plaque look like it was old wood, so that was my goal. Now, I haven't told you in this video, but I'm just experimenting here. I'm just having fun. I'm just playing around with y'all, and I'm just seeing what kind of results I'm going to get. So with this product, because I'd never used this particular color before. This is the first time, so we're learning together. So what you need to do is you need to stir it up really good. And I'm stirring and I'm stirring, and literally it's not stirring up. It took a while to stir it up. I kept seeing these white, just like this white color that kept coming through. So it took a while to stir it up, but you want to make sure that you stir it up really good, and that you Just make sure that you get all the little pieces that are on the bottom stirred up. So this is a really cool project, and in a future video I am going to show you the coolest technique on how to do this. One of my friends that I recently met, she's another fusion mineral paint dealer. She showed me how to do this particular technique, but that I'm going to show you in another video that I have planned for you. But what we're doing now is I cleaned it first with a paper towel, but it kind of left a little bit of spot, you know, like the lint from the paper towel on it. So then I ended up taking a microfiber towel that my husband brings home for me, and I used it because it gets all the lint off. So first I started off and I thought, well, I'll just, you know, kind of paint this stain on. And then after I did that, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I didn't like how that was looking. So then I just decided to take my little fork there that I had stirred it up with and just kind of put some droplets on it, and then just rub it in with a paper towel. So what you want to do with this to get kind of a wood look. Now, right now you're going to see me use different motions and stuff like that while I'm initially getting the stain and top coat on there. But then I eventually kind of go just straight up and down, because that's going to give you more of a wood grain type look. And that's what I was going for with this. So what I forgot to mention is I had done the original projects like a week ago, and the reason I had to clean it is because it had been sitting outside on my back porch for, you know, I guess since last week. So it was a little bit dirty, and that's why I had to clean it. At this point, initially, I thought that I was finished, and I set it aside. To dry for a little bit, and you know, I was just finished with it. But as I looked at it a little bit more, I just thought that's a little bit boring. It needs a little something else. I like things to pop a little bit more. I like a little contrast. So I took this wax, which is called a liming wax, which basically is like a white wax, but it's a fusion mineral paint product, and it's called liming wax. But you know, if you don't have liming wax, you can take clear wax and add a little white paint to it, and voila, you have a white wax. Pretty much the same thing. But if you want to purchase this product already you know, mixed up and everything, I do sell it on my website. I have a website, www.jboneandcompany. So here I am just adding it to the owl to make it pop. I'm just going to cover it up with the white wax. Then I'm going to take it off, and it will leave the white wax in, you know, in the crevices. And at this point, I think it looks a lot better. It just pops, and you know, like I said, I like contrast a little bit more, and I'm just having fun. I'm just literally playing with these products, and that's what I'm doing, just having fun. And I thought I would show you how these work, and we're learning together. If you like how this owl turned out, give me a like and leave me a comment. Okay, we are now on to project number 2. This is a pair of candlesticks. They're vintage wood, pretty bad shape, but they had been in my booth for a good while, and no one had purchased them. And last time I was up there adding new things this weekend, actually, maybe it was yesterday. I don't even remember. The days are getting confused. Anyway, the last time I was up there, I saw them, and I thought, you know, those have been there a while. They would be fun to make over, so I brought them home. And I thought, you know, I could use this same driftwood stain on them to see what they look like. So, you know, when they're stained. So I was about to stain them when I decided, this would be a good idea to pull out my Lazy Susan. And right now I'm showing you my Lazy Susan that I always use, and then the most recent one I purchased. It was on sale for $2.50 at the thrift store. I believe I got it half off for $1.25. But you guys, you can pick these things up at thrift stores. I see them pretty regularly. And if you don't have one and you don't want to thrift one, I'll put a link in the description for a Lazy Susan. They're very good to have on hand because it makes it easy to paint projects. I probably have 4 or 5 of them that I use. But I decided to put it on this one that didn't have as much paint on it because you could just see the project better. So here I am just putting a layer of that driftwood, and then I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm going to wipe it back. All I'm doing here is, just playing around, seeing what it looks like. I had no idea really what it would look like. I thought it would look fine. And sure enough, I think it looks pretty cool. And it looks kind of old and, cool looking for a Halloween kind of creepy theme. I think candlesticks are a great thing for Halloween because they're just kind of creepy. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm just giving it a coat of paint, and then I'm wiping it back off. Okay, so I wanted to share something else with you that I've just kind of briefly mentioned. I'm actually an attorney. I'm a trial attorney. That's what I've been doing after I went to school to get my art degree. I went to law school a year later, and I've been an attorney since 2003. I'm actually a trial attorney. And today I had 2 trials, 2 temporary hearings, and I could not wait to get home so I could do some art projects because I just love doing art projects. I like helping people. I do mainly family law, divorces, child custody, and criminal defense, and I really do enjoy helping people, but, art is so much fun. So anyway, here we go now. I decided that, they were just kind of boring looking, a little bit boring. It needed a little something else. You could stop how they were, they're fine, but I like things to have a little bit extra to them. So I decided to use the liming wax on these candlesticks as well. And so I'm just going to cover them up. Then I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to wipe it back. It will leave some of that white there in the crevices and just gives it, a little bit of extra cool look. Usually things with layers look just a little bit better. There's my son. He's coming in. He picked up some food. So anyway, so it looks a little bit better when you have different layers of paint on. That's from my personal experience. And one thing I see when a lot of people do art is they'll just put like one layer of paint, and really when things look really cool, in my personal opinion, is when they have multiple layers of paint. Welcome to the reading room in our house, or at least that's what we call it. A lot of times we use it to look at our iPads or our phones, but it's also a great place to read a book. So what do you think of the finished product? I think it adds a nice moody touch to your Halloween decor, but also you can use it in your everyday decor as well. Okay, on to project number 3. I love this project. So I picked up this, it's basically it was a galvanized flower pot. It looks like it might have been from Walmart originally. It's a large pot. Might be kind of hard to see how large it is in this video, but it was a large pot. I bought it for $3.50 at the thrift store. I believe it, I don't know, can't remember if it was on half off or not, but anyway, it wasn't much money, but it was all rusted up. And originally I thought, well, I'll just paint it, and, sell it in my booth as a flower pot or something like that. But that was about a month or so ago when I purchased it, before, I got excited about Halloween. So after I had it outside on my back porch for a little while, I thought this would be a really cool witch's cauldron type thing for Halloween. I thought this would be perfect. So what I'm going to do is, if you could see on the galvanized, most of it was galvanized, but then there is this gold, it's like kind of like they painted it gold. And what I'm going to do is teach you a little technique. And what I'm going to do is I am putting on the liming wax, the white wax. I'm using the white wax so that you can see it. If I put clear wax, it might be kind of hard to see it. So I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. What I'm eventually going to do is I'm going to spray paint this pot black. But first I'm going to put the liming wax all on top of the gold because I want to keep the gold. I could have painted it with a paintbrush, but it would have been very time consuming to do something like this. You would have seen the brush strokes and, in my opinion, it just wasn't necessary. So what I wanted to do is take my paintbrush and I'm painting it with lime wax. This is a resist technique. So basically what that means is wherever you put the wax, the paint is not going to stick. It's going to resist in that area. So that's why we're doing this. It's just a neat technique that you can use in a lot of different projects. This is just an alternative that you can use instead of, let's say, covering up that area with tape or something like that. Or if you wanted to get an extra distressed look, you would just put a resist on the area of the project that you didn't want covered up with paint. When I was a child, my mom put me in art lessons. I probably was 8, 9 years old, and we lived in West Texas. And I remember my mom took me to this old building. I can only imagine, I'm sure it didn't have heat or air or whatever, but that's where they taught art lessons from a real artist, and I just loved it. And I remember she taught us, one of the things she taught us was, it was actually with crayons, but it was like crayons, and then we painted, but it was kind of a similar type thing. But here I am out in my garage, and I thought, well, I'll go get some spray paint. Y'all, this is a mess. But I found this spray paint. It's this hammered spray paint. Hadn't had it, used it forever. And look what I found when I was in there. These Halloween candles. I mean, those things have probably been on that same spot probably 3-4 years, no joke. So I grabbed that hammered spray paint, and I was all excited to use it. I'd had it for years. And hadn't used it in a long time, but I didn't have it. You could tell it was only like half a can. So I decided to use this black Rust-Oleum primer paint on the inside because I have several cans of that. I usually keep several cans of the black paint because I use it all the time. So I decided to paint the inside first with the black paint. And then I decided to grab my Lazy Susan and use it on this project. Now, I'm going to watch this. Y'all aren't even going to believe this. So I'm like wiping away a little bit of the wax. And oh my goodness, there went my camera. Anyway, I decided to leave that in there because, no joke, when you film these videos, all kinds of things happen. So I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to all these YouTubers that make it look easy. It is not easy. There are so many mishaps, at least that happen to me. I mean, it's constantly. I just like to leave it in there so you can see what really happens and see all the mess. So right now I am trying to spray paint with that hammered paint, but turns out it was all clogged up and I could not get any of the paint to come out. If y'all know how to unstop paint, let me know. I was thinking about running like hot water on it or something, or I do have a heat gun, but I don't know. I just decided it wasn't worth my time messing with it at that point. So I put it to the side, and then I got out that same black paint, and then I just gave it a quick coat. So now we are back. And I am attempting to take off that spray paint. Now, I have never used spray paint on top of, wax or anything like that. I have painted on top of Vaseline with like chalk paint. I'd never used it with a spray paint. Well, it's very humid here. We're in North Georgia and it's very humid. and the paint was still kind of sticky. I probably didn't wait long enough, and it really wasn't coming off with just a paper towel. So I sprayed some of that Auto Magic cleaner that I always used, and it still really wasn't coming off that good. So I thought, well, I'll take out my sandpaper and try to kind of scratch it off a little bit, but that wasn't even working that great either, y'all. I tried to use that microfiber towel. It was just sticky and kind of gunky. So what I did is I ran inside and I got a wet paper towel and just a Lysol wet wipe, and that ended up working better. So that's what I'm doing now. And now for the fun part, I took out my Gilded Etiquettes transfer from Iron Orchid Designs, and I put it on the project. I'm just going to let you watch this for a second, because in just a few minutes, I'm going to have a more detailed explanation of this process. Remember the before project? My brother told me to add the before project in again, because sometimes he forgets what it looks like right before the final project. So I took his advice and added it in. You can then add a clear coat matte sealer or a clear wax to protect it. Well, since it's not quite Halloween, I don't have any candy to put in it, so I just used this plant, but I think you get the picture. Transfer set is called Gilded Etiquettes, and it's on my website for purchase, www.jbowenandcompany.com. The links are in the description of this video. Did you happen to notice the photograph on the wall? A client of mine gave that to me. Here's a close-up of that photograph. Who do you think is in the picture? Here comes project number 4. And surprise, I've been holding out on y'all. You didn't know that I had a baby one of these cauldrons. But since you already know how to apply the resist, I went ahead and did it, outside of the video and didn't record it. I'm now showing you a hydrangea bush that I have in my yard, and the blooms are beginning to fade. This was a beautiful blue hydrangea bush, but after a while it kind of turns that pink color, and then it eventually the blooms fade and then they die, but you can use those for decorations. So what I'm doing now is I am getting this transfer set, and I'm looking at it. My transfer set doesn't look all beautiful and pretty anymore because I've used so many of the transfers already, so I can't show you the whole book because I've actually used them. But what I did is I found one that would look good on this little mini cauldron. I thought it would be perfect for like candy at your house or a plant, either way. And I found the one that I thought would fit, and I cut it out. And after you cut it out, there's all kind of little extra pieces you can use, like the little extra writing. So when I placed it on this project, because of that paint, I think it was a little sticky, it actually stuck really well. Now, doing it on a curved surface is a little bit more difficult than on a flat surface, but I've done it a lot of times. So it's easy for me, but you might want to start on a flat surface and you might want to, tape it down just so it doesn't move if that's easier for you. So there's that little plastic stick that I was showing you, and you just have to rub it, apply, a little pressure, and you'll just get the hang of it. It's kind of a learning curve. It's a little bit harder to use, not hard, not difficult, but a little bit more of a learning curve than the regular IOD Iron Orchid design transfers. They're kind of more like transferring a sticker, and this is more like transferring, kind of like gilded gold. I don't know if that's the right word, but the gold leaf, sorry. It's more like transferring gold leaf a little bit. But you see me just rubbing it, and as you rub it, you're going to notice that where it comes off initially, it's going to start becoming clear, and that's how you'll know that it's ready. But I tell you what, this product is a beautiful product. I've used it on a lot of different items, and it makes them look so beautiful. And so originally I thought I could just leave, well, actually my first thought I was put these gold transfers on. Then after I did the products, I thought, oh, they look pretty good by themselves. But then I decided, no, I think I'll, do a little something extra just to show you how cool this product is and these transfers are. I do sell these transfers on my website, and if you're interested, you can go purchase it. And I think that you will love this transfer. If the gold doesn't come back, you just, put it back together, put it back down on the item and just rub some more. Now, the thing is about this particular transfer, it doesn't always come out exactly like what you want. It's kind of like using a milk paint or something. You can't always predict the exact outcome. It could be a little extra gold here or there. But what you want to do is, and that's just the beauty of it. So, you just need to know that going into it. But what you also need to know is the part that is left over after the transfer has come off, you can still use. If you have the foil adhesive, you can use the foil adhesive on another project, and then you would put that gold transfer, the leftover part, on top of the project, and then you would actually have a transfer of the opposite of the transfer that you first put on the original pot. So basically what I'm trying to say is you can use this transfer 2 different times. So once you use it, don't throw it away. Don't throw this part away, this leftover, because then you can use that again on another project. But doesn't that look beautiful? I mean, it looks so good. Then you're going to take the part that the transfer was on, that plastic paper part, and then you're going to rub all over it. You're burnishing it, which basically means you're just making sure that the transfer is, stuck to the project. You can also use your hands as well. And this is the leftover part that I'm showing you. You need to keep that in your stash so that you can use it again. And here is some of that beautiful hydrangea from my backyard. Project number 5. Now, this is a very easy thrift flip. I found this kind of bronzy, that 90s kind of brown color. Nothing really too wrong with it, but I just like adding black to it. It makes it pop a little bit. So I just took my coal black fusion mineral paint. I gave it a couple of good coats, and then actually just 1 coat of paint, I believe. And then I took a paper towel and I just wiped it away to show some of the bronze back. And I added a really cool Edgar Allan Poe print. And, you know, that's all you have to do. Some of these thrift flips are really easy, really quick. And that's it. Then you just have a really cool piece of decor that just looks, you know, vintagey. And I think it will add a neat look to your decor. Project number 6 is a very easy thrift flip. You're going to take one of the little Christmas village houses. You're going to spray paint it black and put some of the gold metallic paint on it. If you would like to learn how to make this project, check out my last video, the DIY Halloween Moody dark decor video, and you can learn how to do this effect. I also have another video where I made over junky thrift store items and I gave them this cool effect, so check that out. Hey guys, I wanted to let you know, remember the bat project that I made in the last video? I put it out in my booth and I sold it the very next day for $24.99. That was actually yesterday that I sold it. Thank you so much for watching, and go check out my last videos for more DIY projects.